Wait, am I covered? Am I? No, no, no cleavage, nothing. I'm covered. Okay. 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 Live now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Blessings. Blessings, blessings, blessings to you, my family. You know you all, I love you. Today, first let me shout out to my babies all over the U.S. and abroad. You know I love you all. And sometimes I was thinking early this morning, I told Tobias I was up early this morning thinking about you guys. And I read one of the posts and one of the babies was saying, help me, help me, help me. About rheumatoid arthritis, RA. And so today, family, we're going to talk about inflammation. We're going to talk about rheumatoid arthritis. We're going to talk about those things. Now, the Bible talks about no evil shall befall us, no plague shall overtake us. Hallelujah to the King. I want to say, blessed be he, master and creator of all eternity. May his kingdom come and reign in every area of our lives, in us, through us. Hallelujah to the King. Shout outs to my babies in Ohio, Toledo. I love you. Your Mima thinks you're wonderful. Mommy, kiss those cheeks and that head. That's from the Mima. And I all shouts out to my babies in Mississippi. You all know I love you. Blessings upon your day and all around about you. I can't wait to see you. You know I miss you all. Mississippi. And shout outs to my babies in Texas. Your Nana, I think you're wonderful. And I'm so grateful that one day I'll be able to see you. What is it called? Zoom or something like that? Mm-hmm. That I'll be able to see you all on Zoom or something of that nature.
Yep, that's it.
And
Conference call to different people at the same time.
yes, that's it. And blessings be to you, my babies all over the U.S. and abroad. I love you all so much. And I'm so thankful you all can come on in and tell everybody Ema Bar Health Corner is live and well. And we want to give all praise to the Most High who made the leaves of the field, which are good for the healing of the nations. You know, today I got something wonderful for you today. I say that all the time, don't I? But today it's true. I do have something really, really good for you. As I started to say, one of the babies was telling me she just sent it on my Gmail and said, help Ema, RA, rheumatoid arthritis is getting to me. First of all, you know what I'm gonna say first before we get started. Get rid of the processed foods, get rid of the animal products, get rid of and you know, that mucus building, the animal products, when you come to meat, cheese, all that stuff. And somebody told me, they said, Ema, they do their yogurt. Please don't do that. Okay, look, let's disperse with the yogurt, okay? I'm trying to buy it. No, I'd like to make sure I'm covered. Try to make sure everything is covered. The Ema. Okay, now, let's get started. Get rid of that processed foods. Don't be like some people do hot dogs. Don't do the hot dogs. We'll make plant-based hot dogs. You know, there's something I'm telling you all about. Plant-based hot dogs are going to be coming soon. Plant-based. Now, you know, I already told you all about the plant-based burgers. So you can do black bean burgers. Oh, it tastes so real. And then with the beets in it, I got you. Also, there's other different things. You can do a lot of stuff. Before they brought all this other stuff, family, you know, we had, before we start this other stuff, we had, where's my phone? Get it later. We had other foods that we used to use in those places. And this stuff with the processed food. And guess what? If they are shutting these meat plants because they're contaminants, guess what? We don't want to be part of that. Right?
Right.
I love you guys. So let's get started. Family, let me tell you this. First, rheumatoid arthritis, a lot of this stuff is caused by processed foods. Man, when it gets so part of your, and it causes, autoimmune system. It attacks the autoimmune system. Oh man, it creates havoc on the body. This processed foods is like for the, I know. You all say, Ema, there you go. Shout out to my unidentified Hebrew. If you're out there, give your Ema a thumbs up. I forgot to tell you all, give me a thumbs up if you really like this class today. And if it touched base with you, because when the baby was shouting out to me about help with the rheumatoid arthritis, I thought, if she's calling and asking for help, there are many more than my baby that's calling for help. So there must be many more of you out there. Now, did you know when we have rheumatoid arthritis, the next thing you look at is people with autoimmune systems, their immune system is going down. A lot of things, lupus and different things like that, attack the body. So that's why we're going to talk about that today. Let's start off with just a few things. You all know what I'm going to say already. What about, let's say it together. Ginger, garlic, you know there's what I go to. Onions, you know, let's say it again. Garlic, ginger, onions, cumin, turmeric. That y'all say, Ema, you say that goes all together. Yes, and alkaline your bodies too. Because guess what? These are alkaline foods. What? Yes, I'm telling you the truth. These are alkaline foods. These are alkaline spices. Did you know pineapples are good for rheumatoid arthritis? Pineapples. I didn't put that on there too. Not only is ginger, pineapples. Ginger, let's say it together. Ginger, garlic, pineapple, turmeric, onions, parsley. You knew what that was coming next. I didn't put it on there. Parsley is one of those things that pushes heavy metals out. And when it pushes the heavy metals out, family, what happens? It pushes that toxins out of your body, and it takes care of that arthritis. Remember when women are pregnant and the first thing that they reach for, well, what we used to reach for was the ginger, and it would help the upset stomach. When you go to the digestive system, because everything has to go through the digestive system too. So when you go through the digestive system, you heal your digestive system, and it affects the immune system, and it goes right on and on and on and on. So it affects that. So the ginger is like it acts as, remember last class we were talking about how the anise is like an aspirin, and it's an antiseptic, and it's an antiseptic, it's an antibacterial, it's just like the disinfectant. That's what ginger does. Ginger goes to the system and it will help the rheumatoid arthritis. It helps the arthritis and all of that because it goes straight to the joints. Let's check this out. This is how you can remember, family, that ginger and garlic is for, and also turmeric. If you looked at a real piece of turmeric, a turmeric root, it looks something like a part of a garlic root. And it looks like, and if you look at people's fingers that are really attacked by rheumatoid arthritis, you see how curdle, and their fingers and they're curdled up and all that stuff. Look at that, and then when you look at the root of a ginger and think, oh, that's the way fingers are when they're overwhelmed by RA or rheumatoid arthritis. Think of that. Just like people say kiwis are good. It has high in vitamin A because it looks like an eye. It looks like an eyeball and other different things. They say that tomatoes are for the eyes as well, and for the heart, because when you open it, the size, all the things that it has in it and what it looks like a little, it reminds you of the heart, or different fruit will remind you of what they do. Celery is good for arthritis, family. Oh yes, celery is really good for arthritis. And guess what? And when you look at it, it helps the bones, it helps the arteries, it helps all that because it looks like a strong limb, looks like an arm. Celery does. And because it looks like an arm, it would make you see how strong and where it goes straight to the bones and what it does for the body. So these are just, we're gonna name some as we go on. You sound like you have a question.
No, ma'am.
Not yet, okay. And so now, family, we're just gonna talk about a few things and how they help the body. You know what? While we're at it, I just want to add a few more things. Water. Rheumatoid arthritis, water. You want the water to flush out the toxins, to help the digestive system. Not only is it good for the hair, the skin, the arthritis, the bones, and all of that. You're putting water back in it, but the right kind of water, fam. And that's good for arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. We're gonna look at some of those things too. And then don't forget the turmeric. Here's another thing. Remember I told you all about black peppercorn. Sometimes when you have that pain, just grab some black peppercorn. The wonderful thing of what black peppercorn does for the body, it's like a pain relief, like ibuprofen. Yeah. Just like, remember I told you all about arnica. Arnica is good for that. It's good for the pain. You know what you could take? There's an oil out. Now don't do this yet, but there's a pot. It's called pepper oil. And you can take that pepper oil and you can rub it on the pain and it diminishes the pain. But don't rub your eyes immediately. You can mix, but remember, respect your spices, respect your herbs. A little bit at a time goes a long way. A little bit once you get your desired results, then you can slow yourself off. It's not to be met permanently because these things do the job and you don't have to continue with them. Now, the next thing is, remember alkaline? A lot of these foods are, spices and herbs are alkalinic foods. These are foods that alkaline the body and it goes straight to the place and it handles all that situation that you're dealing with. All that, I call it extra drama. I don't like drama. Ladies, if you like me, we don't like drama, do we? No. So if we don't like drama, what are we gonna deal with it in our bodies for? So we don't deal with that. There should be a scripture for that, don't it? Don't like confusion, confoundment, because we're not into this. We don't like confusion. We don't like confoundment because we're not ready for this. Because we don't walk in disobedience, rebellion, nor do we walk in witchcraft. So therefore, confusion and confoundment has no place in our sphere and around about us. In our bodies, we're another place. So all praise to the Most High. I know we're going to come across that real soon. But peppercorn, what I was going to tell you, take the peppercorn and put about as much in the palm of your hand. In the palm of your hand, probably about 10 or 12. I normally do about 20 sometimes, or I'll give Mr. Don't tell him that this is not aspirin. He thinks black peppercorn is aspirin, but don't tell him. And so, don't call him. He thinks it, so I'll give him black peppercorn and I'll give him a little bit with now, oh, I forgot to say, when you're dealing with turmeric, you need black peppercorn. So turmeric, when you do the black peppercorn, the turmeric will act as a catalyst. So it takes it further on to the next place, but it's a catalyst, it's a booster. So remember, whenever you're doing turmeric, you have to do the black peppercorn or black pepper. Sometimes what people will do, they'll do like if they're using like a third of a teaspoon in the cup. Remember I was telling you all last time about how I take turmeric and I'll put in the mornings or at night before I go to bed, what I'll do is I'll make a little turmeric tea. And I'll add like a third of a teaspoon of ginger, a third of a teaspoon of turmeric, and then I'll put that in and I'll put it, first I'll heat up the water really warm. This is in the morning time, fam. Really warm, put it in your lemon or your lime water, mix all that in, heat it up really well, but don't heat up your spices in hot water, boil it. So you're not gonna boil it, but you're gonna use the hot boiling water and put those spices in so you get all that you need, the nutrients that you need from those spices. After you boil the water, then you put your turmeric, third teaspoon of turmeric, a third teaspoon of ginger, and then you're going to put a little bit of lime in there, and then you're going to sweeten it with honey or agave. Once you sweeten it, it is wonderful. Sometimes what I would do in the morning time, I might from time to time add a little cinnamon, and it acts as an anti-inflammatory. It's a booster for each other. And now at night, if Mr. needs and someone in our home needs something extra, well, they've been working so hard on the roof or tuck pointing at 75. But another time for another story. But if he needs something, what we'll do is we'll give him a little bit of I call it golden milk. I'll call it golden milk. And what golden milk is just almond milk. Heat it up till it's hot. Once you heat it up really hot, just before it goes to a boil, turn it off. Then you put a teaspoon of turmeric in there, a third of a teaspoon of turmeric, a third of a teaspoon of ginger, and then I put a third of a teaspoon of cinnamon, so you taste the cinnamon, and maybe a dab of vanilla extract. This is a night. And then that's all you need. And if you want it really sweet, what you're gonna do, you can put a little bit of agave or honey. Now it should be already sweetened and then you just drink it, keep it stirred up, and you drink it like that. And don't forget your black peppercorn. You could take your black peppercorn and take like about 10 or 12, it doesn't hurt the stomach, and 10 or 12 and throw it back like an aspirin, and you drink it. And during the time while you're sleeping, it goes through the body and it takes away the pain, and you're just letting it rest. You're just resting your body. These are the days that you don't do your baking soda. But if you happen to need, because alkaline, we always talk about alkaline. So on the days that you don't alkaline, then you do that, and that acts as another way of alkalining, but it takes the pain out of the body and the muscles, and takes the uric acid and all that stuff out of the body. And when you get up, you feel like you can run through a troop and leap over a wall. Hallelujah, glory. So I'm just giving you all some of my recipes, but that's what we do at night before we go to bed when he needs help with inflammation, and just to boost his autoimmune system, or as you all call it, rheumatoid arthritis. It keeps him away. He used to have a little crook in his finger like this, and his finger would always be crooked like that. And I was like, we need to work on that. So I started to use a little bit of, you can use a little bit of pepper. It's called black pepper oil. You can put a little bit of black pepper oil. You can buy it. You can get it that way, or you can make your own. Or you can use cayenne pepper oil. And just what you do is just cayenne pepper oil. Just if you want, for those, please be careful when you're making cayenne pepper oil. You're only going to use it or black pepper oil. I just continue to put so much oil to so much cayenne pepper and let it set for some days, and mix it in and let it set, and then strain it, and therefore my oil. But anyway, it's more to that, but that's basically all it is. And then I'll put it on there and just rub it in, and we've got it so almost till it's almost straight. And it takes and then with the ginger, remember, ginger is good for RA. Make sure you do your ginger, you do your garlic, you can do your onion, you can do your turmeric. Those are just a few names. So we're going to get into some other things today as well. We won't be long today, and I know I say this every time. I'm not going to, I know somebody else in our assembly always say I'm not going to be long. I love you, brother. I love you, brother David. I do. But we're going to talk about that today. Family, these are just a few things. Oh, yeah, don't forget when I was saying cherry remember I was telling you guys too, and before I get to the next one, remember I was telling you all too about, it's called tart cherry. It's a type of cherry. It's tart cherry. Tart cherries, and remember I showed you exactly what you get, and you can get it concentrated. If you get it concentrated, and it was in another episode, and I told you guys about tart cherry, and we were on that for a little bit. It's ACEROLA, I do believe. You can use that, and that's good for arthritis or RA. But look on my previous episodes, and you'll see where I talk to you all about cherries, and it takes the uric acid out of the muscles and the joints, and that's cherry. You can use that. This is just something to take the uric acid out of your tart of that. Family, now remember, blueberries are coming in season. Blueberries are something that you want. It's an antioxidant. It's an antidepressant. This is blueberries. Your berries are your friends. It's good for the gut. If you have any digestive systems, it's good for that. But it also helps with arthritis. Cherries, your cherries, your blueberries are good. Your turmeric, like we said. Don't forget, and here's another thing, and I'll go back to this in a few moments. Remember, we talked about pineapple. Don't let me forget about the pineapples, family. And I'll tell you about that. You know what, in the morning, sometimes what we'll do, and I did it this morning, and I had somebody's mixture set up. I don't know whether he's taken it yet, but we'll find out when I get back. We just take, remember I was telling you all about the cumin? Take about it, do a cumin like you do an aspirin. What you do is take your cumin and about a teaspoon or a tablespoon of cumin and mix in with honey. Mix it in with your honey or agave and make it like a real thick paste. So when the real thick paste is like, and you can just take it as a teaspoon and just take it like it's going to be thicker than your syrup. So it's just like a paste. And you can take that cumin and put it in your mouth and swallow it and do a chaser of almond milk or whatever type of plant-based milk. That's good for RA. You can do it because cumins are really good for the body. Another thing is good for the body. Before I go to, I was going to tell you, some people said, Ema, what is that Boswellia? And it's Boswellia serrata. Boswellia serrata is just fenugreek. Frankincense. It's just frankincense and myrrh. Frankincense and myrrh is a beast when it comes to your pain and frankincense and myrrh. That's what it's called in English, but we know it's called something else. It's Boswellia, and that's the real name of it. And Boswellia will help to take the inflammation from the body. Something wonderful. Take the inflammation from the body, and it builds the system up so well, so that when you have issues, and remember we talked about arnica. Now these are just all natural. Remember we talked about arnica, ARNICA, which is what they use a lot in Mexico and also from Africa and other countries. You can get it as it's a beautiful little plant. Arnica is, and arnica is good for inflammation. So you can do it as a cream. You can do it as a tea. You can do it as an oil. You can make it whatever you want out of it, and the application of it rather. And you can use it. You can rub it into the body. Sometimes I think they have it as shop. Vitamin Shop. And I'm not sponsoring anybody's thing, so don't get this. This is just one place where you can find it. Vitamin Shop has arnica pellets, real strong arnica pellets, and you can put it, the pellets I think it's like, I don't know, about 20 or 30 for $6 and some cents at Vitamin Shop. You can get that. That's an arnica, and it takes pain away. Seriously, it's just like, so why would you want to waste your money on aspirin? Aspirin, all aspirin does, it will, is more help, it hurts the heart more than it does the heart good. And things like, remember I was telling you all about willow bark? Willow bark is a good pain reliever. Willow bark, white willow bark. White boulevard is really good for as pain. It's good for anti-inflammatories. It takes inflammation out of the body in your different joints. We're talking about pain. This is something, but what it does after it finishes, it leaves the body, it takes the pain away, but it also helps in other areas of the body as well. So it's like a building up. It goes to the cells of the body, of the different cells of the body, and then what it does, it comes back and it brings healing and oxygen back into the body. You hear me? Back into the body. Oxygen. We love the oxygen. That's what we're talking about. But and you can do that, family. Now we said we were going to talk about pineapple. Pineapple is one of those. Remember, pineapples is one of those quercetins, like onions and all that. We know that onion's good for the body. I love onions, so whenever I cook, you know what, my family already here knows, whenever I cook, they already know that in my bar I've got some onions and garlic in here. We got that. Nettle is good, and they also know that when I do my little vegetable broth, there's some nettle in there. They already know that. But nettle is good for a pain reliever as well, and it's good for the intestines. And nettle is in another story by itself. It's like K2 and K2, and it builds the body up so much with the minerals and the nutrients that you need in the body. That's nettle, and it takes pain away. So remember we talked about it last time when we said that the nettle was those what it did, it's like those little, when you go to, when you see the cowboys and Indians and you look through those little dead towns and you see that little thing, that little weed rolling down the street, tumbleweed. Well, guess what that tumbleweed is? Nettle. Nettle, and it's dried nettle, and it rolls itself in the stalk and the weeds and all that kind of stuff. That's nettle, and it is called stingy nettle. And that's what that is. And you could go to you know what, in the country, let me tell you this part. You could go to, whenever you're going, and this might be something, I don't know what this is. When you go to when you're going camping, this is what they used to do. Well, this is what they use as survivors, prep. And I'm not into all that, but you all know this. This is for the class. So, but I do believe in being ready when the Creator comes back for us. I do believe. So we can do the prep. And so this is what happens, family. They go, and you can find nettle in the ground. Nettle will grow. It's that sticky stuff. You know, when you go through the fields and through the forest and you got that stuff that sticks on you and it stings and it sticks, you can take those sting things and put it on your let me show you this. You could put it on, like if you're hurting anywhere in your body, you can take those little nettle pieces that really stick, those sticky parts, and some people hit their areas where they're, now, because they probably don't have any senses to or feeling to that area, and they'll take it and stick it. This is what they do in Germany. I was reading this, did this research one time, and I found out this is what this research, what they say they did. And you know what? Why is it, well, this time, I was about to say something, but no. This, you know, Germany, I said this before, finish saying it. Germany uses holistic herbs, and a lot of them don't use medical pharmaceuticals. They use, a lot of them there uses herbs and spices for their healing. They're smart, they've been paying attention. But anyway, so they would do that, and they would, when they would have pain and something, they would hit that particular place with a stingy nettle, and the stings go in there, and the healing of that juice or the photosynthesis goes into that area, and within minutes they take the pain away. I'm not telling you to do that, but you know, it's up to you whether you want to do that or not, but I'd rather drink it. When you drink it, and what happens when they go to the fields and they pick up these they find out the nettle, and they know it because it's real thorny. It's real, has a little tiny pricklies underneath the leaves, underneath and around the stem. And what they do is put it in boiling water and let it set for a little while, and then it gets real soft. When it gets real soft, it has so many phytonutrients in it, micronutrients, it goes straight to where you need, and high in vitamin K and everything. So you can actually literally live off of stinging nettle. And it's a nutrient. I mean, it is so based with healing. I mean, we're going to talk about stinging nettle one day, okay? And we're going to talk about that and get that in. But those are one of the things that you might want to use as far as anti-inflammatories, autoimmune system like lupus and RA and things like that. It's just the imbalancement of the nutrients that's in the body when you put so many years of toxins in your body, and all you've eaten is nothing that produces healing. Remember, the leaves of the field are good for the healing of the nation's family. So we want to make sure that we partake in those things. And there's so many things. Celery, oh man, you all know I love celery. But anyway, that is how that will help your intestine, and it also takes pain away. Did you know that? Something as simple as celery. Listen to your imam. I got you. But different things like that is something good for the body. And so let me tell you another thing that I love. You know what? A lot of people say, Emma, here we go with the sage. Yes, I'm sorry, darlings. Sage is
well, there's nothing wrong with it. It just be some people have an issue with burning.
Yeah.
As far as taking it and ingredient in your kitchen, you see it all day long.
Yes, you see it all day long in your kitchens. So with that, family, you could just do sage. And sage, if you can drink a little bit of it, put it in with your ginger and stuff like that. And guess what? Sage is so good. Burdock is another thing. People don't realize this, family, but burdock helps take the pain away. Not only is it good for the digestive system, and it's good for the kidneys, it's good for the liver, which we're drinking burdock tea today, which is wonderful. We love that. But it's good for the pain. Family, it's good for pain and inflammation. Burdock it really is. Some people say, and burdock is one of those things that even helps with their middle cortisol. That's what I'm thinking of, with the cortisol. So that's good. Don't forget, and you know what I got the other day, and I've been looking for it for a long time. You know what's good also for the autoimmune system? It's called yucca root. Yucca is, you see those little yucca plants?
I haven't seen the plant, but I told you to sell that. The yucca root was almost like the opposite of that kind of dark brown. It had like a little light white back somewhere.
Yes.
It looks like a long sweet potato.
Yeah, it's a tuber. It's what they call tubulars. And tubulars are like, you're right, it looks like they're like almost like sweet, like potatoes, right. But they're long. And they're so nutritious. Some tubulars are high in cholesterol, well, not cholesterol, it's high, it'll help you gain a little bit of weight as well, you know. But even though it'll help you gain a little bit of weight, but guess what? Just a little bit. It doesn't make the weight come on you, but if you eat it correctly, it helps you lose the weight, believe it or not. But if you eat it a certain way, it can't.
Just like any other food, if you abuse it, you eat too much of it, you gain more.
Exactly. So, family, I just came today to tell you all, there's so many things that you can use for this RA. But one thing I want to tell you, keep your immune system boosted and build up. Oh, this is what I was going to say. I found some yucca flour, and I am going to be telling you all, because you all know I don't eat glutens. I can't. Glutens I can't do glutens. But we know that this yucca is so good for the body. I'm going to be doing some things with this yucca flour, and I'm going to tell you all how I'm going to do it as soon as I can. So how that works for us. But family, another thing I want to tell you, and this is so wonderful. Keep in mind, this is what I was going to say too. We love pineapples, right? And so we had an issue in the house about inflammation. Remember I was telling you about certain people can't, when they out in the doing things that 75-year-olds should let 35-year-olds do, such as tuck point, roofing, things like that. Yeah. So pineapples, we took pineapples in the summertime We take pineapples in the summer and we juice it, and we put like more than an inch, this much of ginger in it. This really works, family. And he was like, oh, honey, I feel good. Oh, am I telling about him again? Wasn't mean to. But I took this and I mixed in, took a pineapple, took ginger, took a little bit of, and don't tell him I put turmeric in it, because, you know, it's all about the mind, it's what's in the mind. And mix this all together, family. Ooh, and then put some coconut milk, made it like a smoothie. And I mean, the whole thing, it just went in. And about 20 minutes later, as he was sitting there, and I gave him some black peppercorn. You know, now he's used to just taking the black peppercorn, just like peels, and just throw it back, and he drank his smoothie. And about 20 minutes, he was moving like a fresh man, ready to go back again. So, hallelujah to the Most High. So I just wanted you all to know that little bitty something, how fast pineapples and ginger and things like. And if you really want to make it really smoothie, add a little. And you say, Emo, why are you gonna go here? But I'm gonna go there. Take an avocado and put it in there, a really ripe avocado, and put it in that and make the smoothie. Make it smoothier. And I mean, it goes, because you know avocados are they're an alkaliner as well. So it alkalines the body. But mixed in together, baby, it was on target. And then two, you know what? Don't forget, family, during this time, I keep trying to go one place, but I keep thinking of other things for you. But think of basil. Basil, you can make if it means, family, grow a little basil. These are things that you can grow in your windowsill. A little bit of basil. Take that basil and when in the leaves, because we grow, you know, I told y'all we grow basil in the summertime. But anyway, take that little basil and make it like put it in your food. Basil is another anti-inflammatory, and it helps against, and plus basil makes you happy, just like fennel. What you say, mama? Yes. Just like fennel makes you happy. Ladies, that would be your friend in the summertime when you get some fresh basil. And with the fennel and everything, I'm telling you, that is a beast. You want these type of things in your cabinet. Anything that's not real, your body it affects your body. And they're like, we don't know what to do with this. One somebody told me, they said, Ema, what do you do when you eat, what do you drink when you're eating cereal? And I'm like, cereal? Cereal? I don't eat cereal. It's a Ema, you don't eat cereal. Because they were asking me, what did I drink? What type of milk do I use when I eat cereal? Right. I don't do cereal. That is artificial, baby. Look, we got so many other types of food to eat for breakfast if you're gonna break that fast, rather than something artificial. We don't need that. So, you know what? Basil is the kind. So, and so many other types of food that's out there, family. I mean, when you really look, if you really go through, do this. What one lady told me years ago, and I was like, I already on that. She was like, if you go on the outside of the grocery store instead of the insides, she said, you get the best. I'm like, she preaching to the choir, because I barely go. Only time I go to the in between those little parts, and that's to get certain things that I want, like if spices are in there. But I basically go on the outsides of the grocery store, which is where your fruits and your vegetables and all those nutrients come and stuff like that. Those are where you get the best from it. So if you investigate, go family, go and investigate where your produce side. Produce. I love produce. Don't you? I do. Go to the produce side and see all the different, and investigate. And if you don't know what a certain vegetable is, then take a name or take a picture and go home and see what that is. And you'll notice a lot of lemongrass. Oh, by the way, they trying to short my rose here, but I'm got you though. Don't worry about it. But lemons and leeks are like an onion. They're a family to the onions, and the Bible talks about the leeks in the Bible, how they would. It does look like an overgrown green. It does, and it is so good for the body. Man, that's an anti-inflammatory. Did you know leeks are anti-inflammatory? You could cut that leeks up. I love leeks. I love leeks. You know, I'll tell you all something. This is what I do. And sometimes my family here know this. I take the leeks, onions, and put it in my, the little bitty green onions. I took all those different parts that belong to the onion family, and I put in my soups. What? Yes, they know. Celery goes in there too, and the vegetable soups. And then too, let me tell you another thing that's good for rheumatoid arthritis are beets, red beets. Somebody said, I heard you, Ema, I don't like beets. Yes, if you found out what beets do to the blood, how it cleanses the blood. Now listen to this, these vegetables and fruits and spices that we're talking about today, these things that clean they clean out the blood. They clean the blood and get the blood cleansed, because that's where your oxygen comes from. Antioxidant, these are for your antioxidants. They get rid of the toxins that block the oxygen from getting to your blood, from going into the blood, which goes into the body. And we need oxygen to breathe, right? So why not help us to heal our body by bringing oxygen into the blood? Mango, oh, how many of you all love mangoes? Let me tell you what I did the other day. I took some mango and papaya, the dried, and add mango, papaya, and I put a little coconut milk and some ginger. What? It was wonderful. And it was cayenne pepper is another anti-inflammatory. Don't forget, I didn't put the cayenne pepper down there today, family. But cayenne pepper is another thing that helps with inflammation. Cayenne pepper, don't forget your cayenne pepper. And I know you all, for those who have been with me for a while and you've been listening to the broadcast and everything, you say, Ema, you said cayenne pepper. Yes. Cayenne pepper is no joke. It is a beast, family. Cayenne peppers, for those who cannot do a lot of it, I went to the store and tried to find the hottest as I could. You know what they found out? They found out that this cayenne pepper was a good thing against viruses. They found out it was an alkaline and it was good to fight viruses. And I went in to try to find some more cayenne pepper because I ran out. You know, I get the bulk. And they didn't have any. I went to 3 stores. None.
Something that fights against viruses
during the pandemic.
Of course, it's not going to be as ready available as you're used to it being.
Right, yes. And they found out this is what they could use for the pandemic, and they were on it. I was like, and then they tried to gouge me, guys. I got one like this, and guess what? They wanted $5 for a little bitty thing like this. No, I spent a big one for $5. That's what I'm used to. Don't gouge me. But anyway, story for another time. Horseradish. Oh, I forgot before I get to this. Horseradish, family. Did you know horseradish? It cleans the arteries out. I bet you all said, because listen, if you can, how many times have we went to Passover and we've eaten a piece of horseradish? And some people say, I can only take a little bit at a time. Guess what? When we chew horseradish, and I love horseradish, I try to keep it I try to keep it. But somebody don't like it in the house, but I kind of slip it for certain things. Everybody can't take it. Ooh! You, wasabi. A wasabi brings. That wasabi, baby, will make your eyes water.
Yes, ma'am.
And clear the sinuses. Now, if it cleans the sinuses, just think what it does for the arteries.
Right.
And for the blood.
Right.
And how it goes straight and gets that inflammation out of your body.
Is it wasabi made with horseradish fruit? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those wasabi. It's green. It's a green
It's a green type paste.
type of paste pepper, yeah. And then you could get, now the hotter the better. When I come to my horseradish, the hotter the better. It brings all of this to an attention.
Oh, yes, it's good.
And I could chew,
Open everything.
pores, open and everything. I've gotten to,
Like myself, you can't just drench that on anything.
oh no.
Take small.
Oh, small dose. See, you see what I'm saying? I told Mr. was like, I'd gotten to the point I had to slow up on the horseradish because I got, we went to, getting ready, prepared for bed one day, and I'd already taken my bath and everything.
Chat member, one of our family members in the chat by the name of Herman Scott, he says, try a health food store for your cayenne.
Oh, health food store, the big one, the real big one.
They might have it in different sizes.
I'm gonna go in there. Thank you, love. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This email, I love you. Thank you for that. And I went in and I had to slow up on doing the horseradish because somebody was saying I was beginning to smell like a horseradish. So I had to
I'm sorry.
look, FYI,
Stacy's over.
right. I'm still gonna eat my horseradish. And I'm gonna open up my sinuses and my arteries and bring oxygen to every cell of my body. No, I'm just saying, family. You know what? And I'm gonna say that before I go any further. Oh, you know what? And I keep trying to get to this, Tobiah. I'm trying to get to this, but I keep thinking of other things every time I go to that. You know what? Cabbage is another thing. It's an anti-inflammatory. So remember, family, same thing. When you remember, years ago they had a thing of eating cabbage to lose weight, and they had this cabbage soup. For those who are around my age, they had this cabbage soup about 20 years ago, or a little longer if not. I think a little longer. And they had cabbage soup. So cabbage soup, they were saying it helps lose weight, put some onions in there and all that. But what they didn't realize for this cabbage soup, it was an anti-inflammatory. It got rid of all the extra water, just like horseradish. But it helps get rid of all that water weight, and it brings in oxygen, and it's an anti-inflammatory, and it cleanses the body, especially when you add a lot of parsley and cilantro to it. Gets rid of heavy metals and all that. So when you make your soups, fam, don't forget, add parsley, add cilantro along with that cabbage, and you can put just different herbs and a lot of onions. Because you know what, during this time, oh, by the way, let me say this to you, family. For those who are dealing with allergies, remember we talked about allergies, and we said that onions are good because it's a quercetin, and onions get rid of the allergies and things like that. It helps with the allergies. I had a person who brought a dog recently, and that when I went to bed, and I didn't tell the person this, but when I went to bed, because I have an allergy, I have a dog dander allergy. And I'm working on it. It seemed like all these many years that I've been working on it should be done, but hobby ever, story for another time. And I woke up and my face was just swollen, eyes, and I'm like, I know what this is. So for those people, this is just a little hint for you guys along with me. I took some onion, chopped it up really good, onions, and I took of all kinds, like onions, leeks, little scallots. Oh, I love scallions. Oh, by the way. And just all these different types of onion from the onion family. And put a little garlic in it and drank it like a little broth. And I put some burdock, lime, and nettle in it. And to take the inflammation. And if I had the cabbage during the time, I would have used the cabbage, but I didn't have any cabbage. And just made a little broth. And within 20 minutes, my face began to clear up and my body began to get rid of because the quercetin, it got rid of it helped with the allergies. But it took about 20 minutes to half an hour and my body began to release that. Remember, antihistamines, family, during this time, antihistamines, those that are dealing with allergies, antihistamines, your antihistamines, onions, garlics, those are just a few antihistamines, your antihistamine. And look at one of the previous class where we talked about antihistamines. During this time of the year, grapes are antihistamine and different things like that, blueberries. Are antihistamine. I know I've got about few more minutes. Almonds are a good anti-inflammatory. Ladies, if you need, or a young person, if you want it to anti-inflammatory or something good for RA, and you want just the nuts. Almonds are good. Don't overdo the almonds, but almonds are good. Maybe about 4 or 5, and you can chew them up really well, or you can drink almond milk. Make sure just almonds in it and just distilled water, how they make it. You don't have to have all the preservatives and stuff like that. That's good for that. And so that you'll know. Family, before, I'm not going to get to this today, but oregano. Oregano is good for, it's an anti-inflammatory. Remember we said oregano, oil of oregano, and how it gets rid of bacteria, viruses. We went to the store the other day and tried to get some oregano leaves and stuff like that, and it didn't come either. But anyway, it's a story for another time. Oregano is good for the body. It's an anti-inflammatory. So anti-inflammatory, the oregano is not only good, but it boosts your immune system and all that, but it also kills bacteria and stuff. But when you make it out of the tea leaves, then you could drink that, and that's good. And it also boosts the immune system. They've been finding out all this stuff. But anyway, yes, you had a question. What did they say?
We got one hard to pronounce words in the question. I'm trying to decipher it ahead of time before I pronounce it. But here's the question. Brother or sister by the name of William White says, "Shalom, me, mom.
Shalom, love.
My granddaughter just got diagnosed with Tay-Sachs disease. She is 2 years old. Is there anything that we can give her to build up her protein called salmon base? Or base? It's HEX.
I know HEX. Wait. You know what this? If it's what I think it is.
He said, Tay-Sachs destroys your brain and nerve cells.
Really? Okay, so what do you do? Sounds like a parasite. What do you say? And because it sounds like a parasite.
He said Tay-Sachs destroys your brain and nerve cells.
Sounds
but
like
that protein, he says, is there
protein.
anything you can give her to help build up her protein called, and then it has that exo word, that exo salmon base, it looks like, which is HEXO SAM, SAMIN.
Okay, you know what?
INIDASE.
Look in the post, because I'm going to send you something on the post about that one.
Okay.
And that is something that I'll send you a long list. Well, along of different things, because there's so many things that's out there, and she's only 2. First of all, and I can tell you this, take her off cow.
Okay. He says again, I'm sorry,
That's okay.
He said it's a defective chromosome.
Defective chromosome. Okay, first of all, baby love, take your baby off of that cow's protein. You want to make sure that no cow's protein is there. So anything that animal based, you want to take her off. And I'm not, listen, first my husband always says, I got to tell the people this. I'm not a doctor. I'm not any of that. So I only know when some of the things that I've come across in my lifetime, in my over 60 some years.
This is not the advice of a medical practitioner,
Not
but of a imam who practices holistic medicine.
Thank you, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So thank you for that disclaimer.
So take it at your own risk. What there really are no risks is just the simple fact that she's giving you medical advice and she's not licensed to do it. So
Right.
that's where the risk may come in.
That's it.
All praises to the Most High.
All praises to the Most High.
Anybody take anything that imam has prescribed.
Hallelujah. Okay, now she's 2. Take her off the cow. I rephrase that. I would take her off the cow's milk. If you're going to give her any milk, make sure it's plant-based. What I would do is put her on coconut milk and almond milk. And when you do it, you want to add, if she want a little base to it, put a little flaxseed, because the flaxseed is, an omega. It's an omega 369 type without doing the animal base. It's a 369, and leave that up on the post so that I can go and tell you more about it. But I would start there. And then as far as protein, I would do plant-based proteins. Not so much as, but yeah, plant-based, we'll go different story for another time. But basically plant-based proteins. And then I would start there. One of the things that's good as we start off saying for the brain and right on down the line, you could give the baby something like, and this is just, I'll put it on the post. There's a whole lot of things you could give as far as, right, that's one I could go. Yes, that's one I can be here longer than what you expect. But I'll put it on the post, and I'll try to do it today. I'll try to get it, if not today, tonight. Okay, I'll put it on there tonight and things like that. I would feed the baby more, don't give the baby any more processed foods, none. And don't give her any sugars, because sugar will attack the brain. Sugar, white flour will attack the brain. It does that. Processed foods attack the autoimmune system, which attacks the brain. You could start when they rest at night. Yeah, I'll just put a lot of things, and please watch out for the post, because I'm going to put some things in there. And don't forget a lot of garlic when you give her things. Make sure you have onions and garlic. That helps with the digestive system, which also helps with the brain. There's so many herbs out there that are for the brain, fam. You'd be surprised that and some things that you add. One of the things you might want to do, if she wants to, like, you can make a little smoothie real quickly. Get some, don't use a banana, but use a plantain. If you could get some plantains. Get some plantains. You can make sure the blacker, the better. The black ones are what you're looking for. I used to go to a store, and I'll say this, and they used to give them to me because I would have to, and I know you got a question. Okay, and I would take the blacker the better. They used to throw away these plantains because they didn't think that they were any good until they started listening. And Brother Jacob said they listen to us all the time. But anyway, story for another time. But take that black protein when it's all plantain, and it's almost black. It's just black. And then peel it. When you peel it, it's going to look like it's smushy. It looks like it's all like it's rotten, but it's not. That's when the best ones are. And take that and put a little coconut milk in there, and a little cinnamon, because cinnamon kills bacteria and fungus, which will help the brain as well. Plantains are known to help the brain. And it's a protein. And make it like that, and then don't forget you can put 2 in there, a frozen, freeze them. You can get a mini if you're concerned, and because they will draw flies. But what you do is peel them and then take it and put it in the freezer. When you put it in the freezer, you can make a little smoothies. Put 2 at a time for her. You can even eat those like this and make a little smoothies. Like I said, you can add coconut milk and or almond milk and put in there a little cinnamon to taste, and put a date in there because that's your sweet. That's your date. You can get a date. Put a couple of dates. I normally put about 6 in mine. 6 dates and make it like a little smoothie, and puts about 5 or 6 ice cubes. And then put it in there and let her eat some of that. That will help. That's one of the things and she's gonna love that. She's gonna think it's ice cream. But those are just I normally do that as an ice cream, but it's like a smoothie. Or even if you have a food processor, take that plantain and put it in the food processor so that it's nothing but just that, and put a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of vanilla extract in there, and it'll taste just like ice cream. And let her eat on that for a little bit, and then I'll post some more things that you can do. That's just a little treat for her. But that plantain goes straight, and it helps the brain. And it helps the brain in a lot of ways, man. So you can do that. But those are just a few things, but I'll put some more things in there for her. and for you. Don't forget to put that question into the post, and I'll go back over that later on. But I'll make sure I get before the end of the day, before this end, before tomorrow, I'll have that information in there for you. Okay? You had a question?
Well, I just wanted just to show the family that basically, when you do make the post, if you go right around Dietary 298, and it's on the community page or whatnot, if you subscribe to the channel, you'll get Iman's posts. They appear in the community part of YouTube. So keep an eye on those family. That's all I want to say.
Amen.
We have knowledge of the posts.
Thank you, baby. You know, a lot of things I wanted to tell you too. One thing is an anti-inflammatory. I'm telling you all my secrets. What? For the last month or so, I've been doing all of these things that I'm telling you all about. Kale. Don't forget you can do your kale and put them in that's an anti-inflammatory. Your question.
Oh, no, I have a question. Just thank you. William Rockwood just said, I thank you so much, Iman, for your help. Blessings to you and your house. Shalom. You are amazing.
Oh, all praise to the Most High. I love you too much. It's more than a pleasure. Don't stop loving me, fam. Don't stop loving me. I love you guys, and it's all because of the Master. He's got all these things. He's just given us the how-tos of how to put it together so that it works for our bodies. And we're going to fight that enemy that comes against our souls with a healthy diet, because we're going through the spiritual part by adding the Master, agreeing with him in every situation, every circumstance, but we're also doing what's good for our bodies. Oh, okay. I started telling you. Oh, you know what you can also give her? I started off to say the kale. Get some kale. I normally like the curly kale, and put a little bit of garlic, a little bit of, and it's going to taste like a potato chip. She might like this. And put it a little bit, mix it in, a little bit of olive oil, put a little bit of onion, a little bit of garlic, and mix it in just like you do. Just saturate it all the way around, and put it in the oven, and let it crisp on 200. It's going to take a while. And when it crisps, and wait till it gets to be the crisp. Make sure you check it so that it gets. You can turn it on the side, however way you want to do it, and you can make like little chips. Those are kale chips. And kale chips are good. Now, this is good for anti-inflammatory family, but it's also good for the brain as well. And it goes to the blood system, and it brings healing to the blood system as well. So don't forget your kale chips. You can do the same thing with spinach, bok choy. You know, bok choy is one of those cruciferous. And what I mean is just like cabbage. It's of that cabbage family. And what it does, it goes to the body, and it's an anti-inflammatory, but it also heals as well. So you can do that. Don't forget your pumpkin seeds. We had some, shout out to my family in Ohio, because I was telling her about pumpkin seeds, and she was like, Emma, I did what you said. And she said, let me tell you what she said. We don't waste anything in the house. So all the pumpkins, the squash, the zucchini, you know, those squashes, the winter squashes and all of that, we take the seeds. My husband don't want me to plant them anymore. Story for another time. So I said, if I can't plant those seeds, then can I, and so I put them out, clean them from the winter squash and the different squashes, take the seeds out, clean them out really good, and let them set. And then after I sprinkle them a little bit with a little bit of Himalayan salt, and every so often while he's not watching, a pinch of garlic and a pinch of onions. And it tastes those, and I got my baby in Irene, I'm telling our secret. And I put it in the oven, and you turn it on 200 and let it crisp. Those are your that's how they do sunflower seeds. And they make them crisp, and I know crisp. And that's how they eat them. Those are where the sunflower seeds come from. That's where your pumpkin seeds, you can eat them. And you get addicted to those things. But you can eat them just like that. And that's where when you go to the store and you say, I want some sunflower seeds, I want some pumpkin seeds, I want watermelon seeds. Do you know, remember I told you all before about the watermelon seeds and what they do? Wait, it's almost 3 o'clock. Okay, so family, This is your email. I was going to get to something else today, but for those ladies that are dealing with estrogen, I was going to tell real quickly, don't forget your red clover. This is a time where you can get the red clover sprouts. And red clovers are like an estrogen. It's good for fibroids and all that type of thing. And it helps with fibroids and tumors and all of these female menstrual areas as well. But men, do not, be careful with red clover because of the estrogen. And you want to be careful with that, even though the red clover is good for gout and all that kind of thing. And that's what I was going to tell you. It's good for gout, it's good for RA, it's good for inflammation and right on down the line. But men, it's just like soy. Soy is not for men. It's not for men. So if you're drinking soy milk, men, please, from this moment on, your email says don't do the soy milk. And you know what, as the more I do a little bit of research on the soy, I'm coming to find out that the soy really is not really good for us, period. Not for us. So let's do another alternative to the soy. Okay, I know you all say tofu, and I used to make tofu smoothies. But I found out there's something better than the tofu, but we'll go on that. And when they go to temp, TEMPF, that's from a soy product. That's another thing you might want to do, might not do for men, but that's a story for another time. This Ima thinks you are fantabulously wonderful. I thank you for coming into the class and allowing me to bend your ear for a moment. Some of my past history and some of the things that I've learned in coming up through the years. And I pray that this will be a remedy. Instead of doing the drugs, the adverse effects, all that stuff that causes adverse effects on our bodies, now we can go to the holistic side and see what the Father has for us and what He initiated and intended for us. So I ended this with this day. Father, we agree with you that the desires of the wicked will not be fulfilled against us. And let the meditation of our hearts and just the meditation of our heart be acceptable in your sight. Oh, my Yah and my Redeemer. We ask you for Psalms 91 all around about my family, as about a shield. No evil shall befall us, and no plague shall overtake us. For your name's sake and for your glory, we give you praise. This is your Ima Barb saying, I love you and I think you're wonderful. Blessings. See you next week. Tell everybody Ima Barb's Health Corner is alive and well. Mwah. Hello to my babies. I love you. Encourage your parents. Talk soon. Amen.